This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good morning to you all. Now we will see the concept of tuple. Tuple is an important data structure in Python. Certain points are to be remembered about tuple. We will definitely look at these points one by one. For the time being, please look at this line. This is how a tuple is defined. How many values I am writing over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I am writing all these values between a pair of round brackets. This is what is meant here. A tuple is a collection of values. Here it is a collection of 7 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can very well have 10 values or 14 values or 20 values. The values in a tuple are written between round brackets. See the value at the starting point you have one opening round bracket. At the end you have another closing round bracket. You please remember what I have told in the last lesson. We use square brackets in the case of list, but in the case of a tuple we use the round brackets, and then the values are separated by commas. You take between these two values, you get a comma, you have a comma. Take these two values, you have a comma. So values are separated by commas. Different data types are allowed. See, our first 5 values are whole numbers, and then we have fractional values. Now we can very well have even a string here, and then you can access a particular value by using the index. Now in real life, we call this value as the first value, second value, third value, fourth value, fifth value, sixth value, seventh value. But in the programming field, this is known as the zeroth value, first value, second value, third value, fourth value, fifth value, sixth value. The count starts from 0. This 0, the position 0, position 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. are known as indices. So the value of the index starts with 0. So if someone asks you what is the value at index position 0, you will say 1. What value do you have at first index? You will say it is 2. What value do you have at the index position 2? It is 3. Okay. Now the most important characteristic about tuple is that it is immutable. Now, please recall what you have learned in the last lesson about list. Say in the case of list also, right, this definition is all right. It's a list is also a collection of values. In the case of list also, the values are separated by commas. Different data types are allowed in list also. In list also, you access only with the help of the index. So you may say like this, in many aspects tuples are same as lists. And then what is the most important difference between a list and a tuple? And that is this one. Tuple is immutable. What does it mean? Right here, suppose I define this collection of 7 values as a tuple. At a later stage, I cannot change any one of these values. See, here I am making an attempt to change the value at the 4th position, 0th position, first position, second position, third position, fourth position. Now, see, I am trying to replace this value 5 by 100. 100 will be assigned to the 4th position. Whatever we have in the 4th position now, 0th position, first position, second position, third position, fourth position, it will be replaced by 100. But actually this line, when we try to execute this line, an error will be reported. Why? Once you define the contents of a tuple, you cannot change it. That is what you mean by saying tuple is immutable. If at all you want to change the contents of a tuple, you have to store the new contents under some other name, say tuple 2, tuple 3, etc. Now, here I define a tuple, right? Now, when I say tuple 1 of 0, what do I tell the computer? Come on, go to this tuple, tuple 1. Tuple 1 is defined like this. Pull out the value in the 0th position. 1 is the value at the 0th position. So 1 will be displayed as answer. When I write like this, you can yourself guess. I tell the computer, pull out the value at the first position. At the 0th position, you have this one. At the first position, you have this one. So 2 will be displayed as output. Now, -1 syntax is very important. -1 means my value at the last position. Value at the last position. So 5 will be given as the output. What about -2? Recall what you have learned in the previous lesson. See, -1 means value in the last position. When you say -1, you mean the last position. When you say -2, you mean the last but one position. So what do you tell the computer? Pull out the value at the last but one position. Last position, last but one position. So 4 will be pulled out. When will this notation be helpful? When you have a lot of values, say 50 values, and then you want to retrieve the last but one value. Now, you know the last value is referred, the last value's position is referred as -1. So last but one value's position is referred as -2. Now, if this notation is not available, and then what you are to do? See, what is the situation? You have got 50 values. You want to retrieve the last but one value. If this notation is not available, and then you have to start counting from the beginning: 0th position, first position, second position, third position, 47th position, 48th position, and it is going to take a lot of time. But since this notation is available, when you want to retrieve some value from the right hand side end, you start counting from -1. All right. Now this when I try to execute this line, I will get error. Why? Now why do I tell the computer assign 100 to the fourth position? 0th position, first position, second position, third position, fourth position. So what do I tell the computer? Replace this value 5 by 100. But you know very well, tuple is immutable. What do they mean? At the time of definition, I define tuple 1 in this way. Once I define like this way, at a later stage, I cannot change either this value or this value or this value or this value or this value. If I try to make a change, error will be reported. In the programming situation, so there are certain situations in which I want to define a set of values, and then I don't want anyone to change any one of these values, right, due to any reason. If that is the purpose, better I define that collection of values, such a collection of values as a tuple. So we have seen a lot about tuples. Thank you.